Hey, Brian from Garage Mahal. Today I have the HS600 by Holy Stone. This is a 4K GPS drone with a control distance of up to 3 kilometers. So pretty awesome. Let's open this up and see what we get inside. So right away, it comes well packed. Put that box down there. And I love the fact it comes in a case. Anything that comes in a case is absolutely awesome. So let's take that out. And let's open this up and see what we get. And let's take a look at this case. I mean, so that's pretty cool. Little shoulder strap. Nice padding, some outside pockets. So you can put some like extra accessories in. Alright, so some big propeller blades. That is your manual. And then this is the separation of this. So, I mean, this is pretty awesome. Right, so that comes off the top. Now hold your propeller arms and stuff together. So that's a drone. So definitely on the bigger side for sure. And then that is your battery, and then in your separation compartment here, let me get this in better angle of everything. So let's pull everything out. So another battery and another battery, and that is your controller. I think that's everything that's in here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. I mean, this is a heavy-duty case. That's something else. Okay, so let's open these batteries up. So that is your charging cable. That. Let's open this. So that is your battery. So let's get this hooked up and get this charging. So the charging port is here on the side. So we'll plug that in. So hopefully you can see that blinking. It looks like it's blue lights, and I guess when it's fully charged, that light should go out. So I think we're gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna hang on to those boxes for storage or not, so we'll put them off to the side. And then again, this is like the other battery. So we'll get them all ready to charge up. And each one comes with its own charging cable, so that is great. So that way you can get a couple batteries charging at the same time. I think we'll actually do that. Let's hook this one up as well. And put this over here, my other little charging port. And it doesn't come with a charging block, but you can like use your tower, your laptop, an old cell phone charger they have laying around. If I can get the right orientation of that. Okay, so there we go. So the batteries look like they come about 3/4 of the way charged. So that is pretty great. I got like 3 batteries. That is pretty awesome. I think we're just going to keep this one in the box, but just to kind of like show you, it's got all the same stuff in there. That is absolutely awesome. I'm gonna put that. And I was wondering, because when I got the box, it felt heavy, and I couldn't figure out. I was like, why is this so heavy? All right, so we're gonna put that in there, just for safekeeping for now. So I love how this kind of like has this little propeller lock thing. So when you put that away in a case, that stays on there. And again, the arms come out. I said again, I haven't showed you this yet, but anyway, so the arms fold out that way. So that has a large span on it, and I absolutely love, I mean, that is pretty beefy. And then with that extra battery on it, that's gonna be pretty fantastic. So this is basically the bottom part, and I like how it has these sensors. So when you're doing like the auto home and stuff and landing, it kind of knows exactly how far off the ground it is. So that's great. And then here's the lens cover. So basically on this it says, please remove the gimbal cover before turn on and the power switch. So that's just a little safety thing. So we're actually going to take that decal off, because we're not going to forget, right? Okay, so that is basically the gimbal cover for that. And you have a little lens protector on that as well. We're going to take that off. So that's great. That's kind of like to kind of protect it for during shipping, but let's put that we'll put the gimbal cover back on. And that thing is ready to go. Okay, so that is basically how you kind of tilt it forward, and then you slide that back. I'm like fumbling with my fingers here today. Okay, so there we go. So that's how you undo that. And it comes off forward, and then you can slide that right out. So that is great. Great little protection on that. Alright, so that snaps into place. So that gives you kind of a overall view of it all. And then that is your memory card slot. And I do have a SD card that we're going to use. So we're basically going to put that in there. And you can hear it's spring loaded, so when you click that in, you can definitely hear that it's ready to go. I mean, this thing, it's got such a awesome look to it. Alright, so, and here's our controller. So it has these little knob protectors, which I always like seeing in, any drone. And then that is your phone holder. It's wrapped, it's encased in a wrapper. So let's get this undone here. Alright, so that's got that little protective film. Always sticking to my fingers. Alright, so that expands pretty large, so you can put like some of the larger smartphones on this as well. And it's got a screen protector, so let's take that off. And it says, ensure the antennas are properly unfolded before use. It takes about 40 seconds for a transmitter to connect to the drone. So that's pretty important. Some drones that I've had, like, they connect really fast. All ones take a little bit longer because this is a GPS drone. It actually has to hook up to the satellites in the air first. So that's why this will probably take a little bit longer than some of your, other smaller drones that, they can connect as fast as the remote goes. So, and then it basically has just a different language. I think that's German that's on there as well. So that is that. Pretty cool. So let's take a look at the whole controller. So these are your antennas underneath. And then it has your camera controllers here. So basically you can take a picture with this, you can take video with that, and then you can do the angle. And then I'm not sure what this button is, but we'll discover that together. And then these handles come down, and then that is what you hold on to the remote. And it does have a charging port, so this does not take batteries, it's rechargeable. So, and we're going to use this C cord that we have available, or we can use one off the batteries as well. So it does. So you do have extra power jacks. So, and it's going to say it's charging on there. So I'm not quite sure how low it actually is. So we'll let that go for a little while and to get that charging. Let's go through the manual and see everything, all the features and the little tricks, hints on everything. Put that down there. Battery life, caution card. So we'll put that back in the case for later use. And I love that it's got a little back pocket here that you can store some of your documentation in. So instructions for use. Okay, just a bunch of safety features, maintenance, drone details. So the transmitter. So it's going to go over a bunch of different options for you. And it has, I like that it has this home button, which is great. So it's going to be like one button, take off and landing. So it'll go back to the last place that it found. So if you start getting disoriented and you're trying to land it, you can just hit that button and it'll come back and it'll land itself. So that's a great feature on a lot of the Holy Stone drones, especially this one. But anyway, so your left joystick is forward and backwards for your flight. This will rotate it left. This will rotate it right. Then this joystick on the right hand side will basically go up and down, so basically ascend and descend. And then this will fly to the right, fly to the left, depending on how you're using that. So that's your stick controls. This is going to be installing the app onto your cell phone. This is your battery. And then again, we already went over the orientation of the TF card on how to install that. So pre-flight and then pairing. So pre-flight, basically just kind of go and make sure you have the the drone next to the transmitter, pretty close to everything hooks up. Make sure that you have a nice clear flight path, clear area which you're flying. And then pairing. So what you're going to be doing is, so once you have the battery on your drone, you're basically going to hold the power button on the battery for about 3 seconds and that'll turn your drone on. I'll show you this again when we're outside in a clearer area to get that going for you. And then on your remote, you turn on your remote, press it once, and then you are basically pressing this button twice to pair your drone to the remote control. And again, we'll go over that outside a little bit more. And then again, it'll take about 40 seconds for it to pair to the drone. So in that time, it's probably going to take a little bit of while. So it's a matter of just kind of like hanging out and wait for that to do its process. Then it's going to go through this section, connecting to the Wi-Fi. So you're going to be looking for, it's going to say Holy Stone FPV to connect to your drone. So make sure that you look for that and like you pull down menus and stuff. Because there's certain restrictions and everything, I may not be able to show you that part. So you're going to have to read along on this because there's some privacy violations that, but anyway, you'll understand. Then you got to calibrate the compass. So when you're calibrating the compass, you're basically putting both these joysticks up in the corners. They'll activate that. And then we're just going to go through. It does have a rotational gyroscope that you have to calibrate to get this drone to fly properly. And what you'll be doing is that you'll be actually, once you're into the compass mode, you're actually going to be turning the drone this way, as flat as you can. And then you're going to be turning the drone this way. Again, we'll go over this when we're outside, but that will help you calibrate the compass for this drone. There'll be like GPS searching, and again, there's going to be a little bit of a delay for it to search. And then calibrating the gyro. So it's going to be basically going like this. Once this is on a level area, the gyro will basically say, okay, this is a flat surface. That's what I'm calibrating to. And then we're ready for takeoff. So there's a lot of things to do to get this up and running. However, this is a pretty easy drone to fly overall, even though it has some like advanced startup features on it. It is a highly accurate drone overall, so it's definitely worth going through the manual. Read through everything first, make sure everything is set up properly. Don't be in a rush. This is a very advanced type of drone to be flying, but again, it is super easy and super simple to do. There is just a little bit of a setup process that you have to go through to make sure that you have everything set up properly so you can have the best flight, best videography, best photography drone that you can have. Anyway, I think that's it. We're going to let everything charge up, and when we're ready, we're going to go outside and I will show you the rest of the process. So stay tuned. Okay, so we're outside, and obviously we got a little snow going on here today. So we'll go step by step with the drone. So we'll probably have some great footage here with all the snow in the area. So basically what you want to do is you want to have the software ready. Depending on the video, I may or may not be able to show that to you, but we'll go through it anyway. So you want to download the app, download the software onto your your smartphone, and it's going to come up as HS Fly, and then you're going to be going into controls, but we got to set up everything beforehand. So let's go through it step by step. So drone, you take your propeller clip off, and then what we're going to do is we're going to extend the arms out. So have your arms out, and then you can disconnect your cover for your camera. And then what, oh, I always forget this part on this drone, but it has cool little landing gear they can pull down. And what you're going to be doing is putting your battery in and push it down till it clicks, and then you're going to turn the battery on. So hold it for a couple seconds. It's going to make that quick DD sound, and then we're going to get the remote set up. So these are your antennas, and most optimal position is to have them basically angled up like this for that. And then we're going to open this up, so you have a nice little joystick to hang on to, and then you're going to press the button once, and it's going to tell you how much battery you have left, and then you're going to press it again, and it's going to start looking to connect with your drone. And then we are going to take out our memory card. And you're going to put the memory card in there, and then that will connect. Okay, so it's also connected, so it says GPS mode, and the beeping will stop, and then you'll have these blue lights blinking. So it's going to be looking for the next step is going to be calibration. But in the meantime, we're going to go back to our screen, and you want to go into your Wi-Fi settings, and you're going to be looking for the drone. And it should show up as Holystone FPV, and then it's going to basically have all the different numbers based on what model you have. And then it's going to basically connect. And we're going to go back to the HS Fly app. We're going to go into our controls, and it's going to bring us through a couple little menu items that you can read through. And then it's searching for signal. So now we are connected. So kind of like zoom around with that, so you can see how that is all set up and ready to go. And it acknowledges your TF card, and if you tap on that, you can format the card or cancel. We're actually going to format the card. So formatting successful. So that basically is a blank card we're starting off with. It basically says ready to fly. We're going to go into some advanced settings, and we are actually going to put it into that's beginner mode. Usually defaults to that since I've already had this app. Turn it off. It gives you some better flight distances that you can do. But again, if you're starting out, use the beginner mode till you get comfortable with the drone, and then you can go into the advanced features. And that puts us back into there, and we are going to set this up on there. Set the camera mode up. So, and that's how you basically attach your phone. I have a cover on my iPhone, so that works pretty well. And we're going to go to the various calibrations. Okay, so first we're going to calibrate the compass. So if you take a look at that, we are basically putting this, now it's going to be telling you what to do. So what you want to do first is you want to rotate the drone around twice. And even though it beeped, I usually go around a second time. So that means your compass is calibrated that way. And then you want to turn the drone in this configuration. And again, we just heard that beep. I always like doing it twice just so we have a good reading. So that was your compass calibrated. Next, we're going to calibrate the gyro. So basically make sure it's on a flat surface, and the joysticks we're going to put up there, so now it knows that it's level. And we are basically ready for flight. And there's a couple things that you want to do on here. Like this will take a picture for you. And then this will put it into video recording mode. And make sure that you got your little digital counter down there. And we are ready for liftoff. So you want to push both these down to the corner, and that will start your rotors for you. And we're ready to fly. So you basically just hit this, joystick up, and flying up. And let's get above the trees. And behind here you have your camera button, so you can kind of go up and down the camera function. So we'll keep it down for the video. And basically we're up and flying. All right, so if you lose sight of your drone or you want to make landing easier, just hit the home button, and that will start bringing it back to you. And there you go, Brian from Garage Mahal with your HS600. Be safe out there.